long possession shifts in the offensive zone that Florida has become known for this year. That's their bread and butter. That's where they eat, is hanging on to the puck. You just haven't seen that anywhere. I mean, is Barkov's line, does it like ooze possession onto the rest of the lineup? Because it really wasn't there. When you take a guy out of the lineup, right, who has the puck as much as Barkov has it, when you just think about it, how much does Barkov carry the puck? How much does he, not just in the offensive zone, he's often breaking up plays in the D zone, intercepting passes, and immediately turning it into a rush. This is why he's so good and why the team is so good with him in it, because he can quickly turn defense into offense in the blink of an eye. You've seen how quickly Barkov goes from blue line to blue line when he's got the puck. I've joked before that it seems like he could touch with his reach, with his stick. He could touch from one blue line to the other. That's how long he feels when he's moving with the puck. When you take a guy like that out, I mean, yeah, of course it's going to have a huge impact. Now, the trade that you heard me talking with Sean Stanley in Crosstalk, trade deadline's coming up. Trade deadline is a week from Monday. Does this perhaps make Bill Zito in the front office think a little bit harder about adding some more depth? If they weren't already. You got to wonder, right? Guys have been poking around. Right? I mean, it's no huge secret that most GMs, especially GMs of playoff teams, are poking around right now. And Zito's no different. Florida, speaking in the trade sense, does have some movable assets. Depending on how much salary they'd be willing to retain in terms of guys like a Brett Connolly, a Stanley Cup winner, somebody who's proven that they can perform at the NHL level. Certainly would seem like an attractive pickup to another team. A team fighting for a playoff spot, perhaps. Florida's brought in those guys. You think back to playoff years when they brought in a Yuri Hudler, Michael Samuelson, the kind of veteran guys you bring in when you're fighting for playoff positioning. Last year, Florida brought in Eric Howla. So, Connolly, apparently Anton Stralman, who was waived a couple of days ago, he's also, now granted, he's got a heavier contract than Connolly does with the $5.5 million, but, excuse me. But, you also think about in terms of tradable assets, got some of the young guys. Got Gregory Denisenko scoring at the AHL level. Talk about him later in the show as well. He's got goals in 3 straight AHL games at the overtime winner last night for Syracuse. There's a lot to work out over the next week or so. Should be quite a fortnight. We'll see how things play out for the Panthers. Now, also on the injury front, something that we don't know yet if it's going to be any kind of an issue or not, is Patrick Hornquist was hurt during the second period, I believe, of Thursday night's game in Chicago when he took a high, as I air quote, legal hit from Nikita Zadorov, who, I mean, I'm going to talk about Zadorov later. I'm going to chirp about Zadorov later, actually. But, yeah. Yeah, let's just save that for later in the show. But, so Zadorov took out Hornquist. Quenneville said after the game that he's day-to-day for now. It's really kind of hard to tell what Hornquist hurt. Obviously upper body, but, I mean, he instantly was waving to the bench for the trainers to come out, which concerns you. That doesn't lead you to think it's a head injury, thankfully, because Hornquist has had several concussions throughout his career. But you wonder, when you react like that, you know, a rib, a wrist, a shoulder, it could be so many things, and you really could not tell. the way that he came off the ice. I'm just glad that, as I said, it appears that it was not a head injury. But if Florida has to go into tonight's game potentially without Barkov and Hornquist, that's when a Jonathan Huberdeau needs to shine. And lately, that has not been the case. Lately, Hooby-Dooby-Doo has been Hooby-Dooby-Doo-Doo the last few games. He has not stepped up with Barkov out, which you would almost expect, and he would expect of himself, you'd think, the way, he's the team's point leader all year. He's been amazingly consistent. Special teams, even strength. He has just 1 assist in his last 4 games. It's not Huberdeau-like. The 8 games before that, he had 11 points. That's what we've grown accustomed to expecting from Huberdeau, is that kind of production. More than a point per game. That's the bar he set for himself. So for him to be struggling at a time when the team needs him the most, it's a little eye-opening. He's been a -2 in each of the last 3 games. What does that tell you? Tells you, where has he been in his own zone? Where's his line been in his own zone? That's one of the things about that line with Wenberg centering that line with Hornquist there, is that they're reliable. They don't get caught out of whack in their own end, and it's just been a little bit of a cluster bleep the last few games. Now, to Huberdeau's credit, he spoke after Thursday's loss in Chicago, the shutout loss, and he took responsibility. He said he has not been playing well, that he needs to pick it up. He said that when they failed to score in the 3-on-0, that was on him, that he needs to finish that he made a bad play. And he also said that he thinks that the Panthers are being too cute. That was his words, too cute. Coming from a pass-first guy like Huberdeau on a team that has been really trying to make the perfect play consistently the last few games instead of just getting the puck on net. Yeah. And ironically, the guy on the team who is the one who's yelling at them to shoot the puck more, who's getting in everybody's face to shoot the puck more, is Hornquist. So, yeah, Huberdeau has got to step it up a little bit. Like, if it's just bad timing, whatever it is, but to go out with a stink week the way he did, with Barkov out, I'm surprised. To be perfectly honest, I'm surprised. I would expect Huberdeau to relish the opportunity, and no, he's kind of fallen flat. So I don't want to harp on it too much. I wanted to make sure that I did mention that. Now, I also earlier kind of mentioned, as we get ready to hit the break here, the back-to-back losses in Chicago. It's tough. The first game they fought back after falling behind 3-0, but when you go down 3-0 in back-to-back games, you'd be lucky to get a point out of that, and they didn't. So, yeah, we'll get into it a little bit on the other side, but running into hot goalies is not really an excuse that you can keep using over and over and over again. Hey, Onside Radio enters Kai's Corner with Kai Chen Chisholm every day from 10 a.m. to noon. Join Kai as he discusses the biggest stories in South Florida sports. Tune in every day, 10 a.m. to noon on Kai's Corner on the home for South Florida Sports Talk, OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Chirping the Cats Radio with David Work. Take Onside Radio, your home for soccer everywhere, with a MyTuner radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty, to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Get the brutal honesty every day with the Onside Zone with a big O from 12 noon to 3 p.m. every weekday on your home for sports talk in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Chirping the Cats Radio. To reach out to David, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Florida Panthers insider David Dwork.
You can watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio, log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk. So, before we went to the break, I just kind of touched on the back-to-back losses in Chicago. What was really jarring was the first two periods, I think, on Tuesday, when you find out, 20, 30 minutes or whatever it was before the game that Barkov was not going to play. And it seemed like the team was playing just as shocked as everybody else was to find out that news kind of out of nowhere. Just the way that it all plays out is going to be interesting. Like I said, you have the trade deadline coming up. You wonder if the front office is going to be a little bit more prone to maybe making a move. And then I also kind of mentioned, like, you can't keep going back to this excuse about running into a hot goalie. I am a goalie. I get it. I like, I understand that sometimes a goalie can be in the zone. But look, any goalie could be beat on any given shot. Right? Just because you're in the zone doesn't mean you're all of a sudden going to be able to pluck a puck destined to go bar down. Or if your 5-hole's closing that much faster. Okay, you just got to keep pushing. That being said, all the credit in the world to Kevin Lankinen. He is having a really, really good season for Chicago. His name has popped up in Vezina talk, which is like, whoa. But, I mean, you got a guy like Lankinen who has had success at the AHL level. You've got Jake Ottinger in Dallas, who's playing really well. You've got Nedeljkovic in Carolina, playing really well. So this nice little youth movement of goalies that maybe you hadn't really known much about prior to this season. It's nice to see. Sorokin, he's been fun to watch in the island. And even like some young Russian goalies picking it up too. I was thinking about this last night. Whether it's Sorokin in the island, whether it's Shesterkin in New York, or whether it's Samsonov in D.C. Okay. I mentioned before that I had a little chirping to do about last week's games. Abel, are we good to go? All right, brother, you can hit it.
Hey, son, you're a disappointment to your parents. What are you doing? Working on my trash talk.
It's time for the chirp of the week.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're gonna hear about it. You can pick the hand I beat the out of you with. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't think so. That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer.
That's so funny. The last time I heard that, I laughed so hard I fell off my dinosaur.
Okay. So one of the things that has not been a big problem for the Panthers this year is the physical element of the game. Whether it's been in front of their own net, whether it's been big hits, fights at appropriate times. Really the enforcer on the team, you thought going into the season it was going to be Radko Gudas. And I mean, he certainly played his part. He's got like a bajillion hits this year. But really, the guy who's been quick to drop the gloves and get anybody's back, really kind of like the mad bulldog of the team, has been Mackenzie Weegar. And so, the physical part has not been a problem. But last week, it was missing. Last week, I felt like Nikita Zadorov was really just kind of taking the Panthers to task. And nobody stepped up. Nobody fought him. Nobody went after him. And the way that it kind of culminated after 2 games with the hit on Hornquist, and still no reaction, nothing. I mean, remember last season, Zadorov was the guy on Colorado who was basically challenging the entire Panthers bench to a fight. When I think about something like that, I go back to like Dan Cloutier, the old Rangers goalie, when the Rangers Islanders had one of their brawls. And I mean, it's a famous YouTube video of him with no pads on the top half of his body, just his leg pads, and skating across the Islanders bench, just pointing them and calling them out. And that's what Zadorov did last year, essentially, to the Panthers. So it's like there's history. And yet, nothing. He had several big hits, not just during this week, but throughout the games with Chicago. They played each other 6 times now. Nothing. Nobody. I'm still shocked. It's not the team we've seen all year. And look, like it or not, that's a part of the game. The physical element is extremely, extremely real in hockey. So I don't know. I don't have, as I look down at my show sheet, I don't have like a lot of detail with this. This was just something that really irked me. It's not what this team has been about. And it's something heading into this season that was lacking with the Panthers. This would have, last year, I would not have been as surprised by this. But it was something that was addressed in the offseason. And they've handled it perfectly to this point. And it's not like you think that losing Barkov is going to take that physical, gritty element out of your game. As much as Barkov does, that's not really his department. As often as you see Barkov smile on the ice is about as often as you'll see him get into a scrap. They don't happen very often. So, yeah, that was frustrating. If I had to bet, I would think that it was addressed. That somebody stepped up and said something. You hope so. Now, they got a chance this weekend to start turning things around against a Dallas team that is really kind of find their identity as well after going to the Stanley Cup final last year. The thing that Dallas has on the rest of the division is games in hand. When you turn in terms of the playoff race, Dallas currently 7 points back of 4th place Chicago. However, they do have 4 games in hand. So Dallas should be considered right there in the playoff picture. But as I said earlier, the Panthers really got to get their shit together if they don't want to fall into that fourth place battle and they want to keep fighting for something better. It's time to turn things around. So a good test this weekend for a pair of teams that are trying to find their footing at the moment to where they are respectively in the standings. I mentioned before, I do want to touch on Anton Stralman getting waived earlier this week. Got 90 minutes now until the window would close for him to be claimed by any other team, as you get 24 hours starting at noon. So that will wrap up. If he gets unclaimed, I would assume that he's heading to the taxi squad. Noah Juleson has been on IR. He'll be back soon. He actually picked up an assist last night. He played his first AHL conditioning game yesterday for the Syracuse Crunch, and Juleson picked up an assist, +1 rating, in the Crunch's overtime win. So yeah, Stralman's not going to get claimed. He's going to pass through. He's making 5.5 next season, and he's making what's left of 5.5, so about half of that this year. Again, it gives the Panthers more roster flexibility. They've been carrying a 23-man full roster for the last month or so, really, as well as 2 defensemen on the taxi squad, 7 defensemen on the active roster. Knutson played well when he was in the lineup last month. Riley Stillman, we still haven't seen him since the first week of the season, I believe. He looked exceptional during training camp. I was really excited to see what he had to offer this year, so I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen him, even with all the depth. But it's interesting how the Panthers have played with this taxi squad with Connolly and Stralman getting waived. Both guys, I mentioned earlier, both guys signed in Dale Talon's last summer here, summer 2019. That was the summer that they got Bob, Achari, Stralman, Connolly. And that was the Q's first summer as well. I think that Stralman has been a little unlucky this year. He's been hung out to dry a little bit by a defensive partner, but he's also, for a guy that's getting second power play minutes, he's supposed to be a middle six pairing. Yeah. But I'll tell you this. And I've been a big defender of Keith Yandel for a long time. This season he's not been at the level that he's been at previously. There's more mistakes, I think, than usual with Yandel. So it kind of makes you wonder if they're willing to waive an Anton Stralman. I think it really kind of goes to show how this Iron Man streak is playing a big part in things. I don't think there's any denying that at this point. I think it's well documented how Joel Quenneville is a very, very much a player guy. He loves his players and he takes care of them. And look, it works. A player's coach is beloved, especially when they win. So I'm not necessarily criticizing Coach Q for the way he's done things, but I would be remiss if I didn't say that things if they continue on the path that they're on currently with Keith Yandel and the way that he's played, I would think that some kind of change has to be made, because it seems like almost every game at this point he's giving up a shorthanded breakaway with a fumble at the blue line. And this is a guy, his expertise, the reason he's out there game in and game out, what he does best is power play. That's his MO, that's his bread and butter, whatever you want to say. That's where Yandel needs to shine. And so when he's kind of showing up minus more than plus, yeah. We know about Yandel's deficiencies in his own zone. We also know he's one of the best passers out of his own zone. So I've said all along, you take the good with the bad. I just feel like the bad is far more outweighing the good of late. It feels a little weird, I'll be honest with you, because like I said, I've been, anybody that's been following me, you guys know I've been a defender of Keith Yandel. I accept what he does well and what he does not do well. But it's just, the balance isn't there this year, and it could just be a bad stretch, a few games, or it could be the start of a deterioration. Yandle's not young. He's, 33, 34 years old? 34. So, no, we're just going to have to see how it plays out. On the other side, we're going to go around the pond. I want to get into Dragori Denisenko. I got a little bit I want to talk to you about him. He did score an overtime winning goal last night in his return to AHL Syracuse. And a couple other things I want to do as we take a little skate. And then also later in the show, Panthers goaltending prospect Spencer Knight is a finalist for yet another award as he continues his impressive run through Boston College. They are participating in the college hockey version of March Madness. So we will touch on that as well. Hey, weeknights from 6 to 7 p.m., catch Game Night with Michael Christian. Listen to the show that provides the smorgasbord gamers love and sports fans desire. From breaking sports news to the latest in gaming culture, catch Game Night.
You're listening to Chirping the Cats Radio with David Work. Take Onside Radio, your home for soccer everywhere, with a MyTuner radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
If you missed the Sunday Sports Drop Sunday, you missed this.
Gabby, what the hell is a vertical penetrator, man?
A vertical penetrator, my friend, is Leonard Taylor. A vertical penetrator is Gerald Willis. You know, those are guys that just, like, you know, cause havoc in the pass rushing game. You know, like, it's turning into a passing game. You watch college football around the country. You look at Justin Fields, you look at Trevor Lawrence, you look at Mac Jones, all these guys that are just starting to sling the ball all over the place. And, you know, you think of pass rushers and you think of guys on the edge, but you also have to consider, like, you know, guys on the interior of defensive line that are going to just go get after the quarterback. That's the name of the game right now, is getting after the quarterback.
Sunday Sports Drop with Jazz Santana. Every Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that split second, her life changes forever. The toll of breast cancer is great. the need to support those who are battling the disease today is even greater. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime. United by hope, we can end breast cancer. Join our fight. Save lives.
Welcome back to Chirping the Cats Radio. To reach out to David, send a text to 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's David Dwork.
You can now listen to Onside Radio anywhere and subscribe to your favorite podcast by downloading the Radio.net app. Download Radio.net in your app store, search online radio, where the South Florida sports fan calls home. All right, rolling right along here, Onside Radio, coming to you live from high atop Inter Miami CF Stadium, and it looks like they're getting ready for a game tonight. I believe Sean said it was a World Cup qualifier or something kind of cool like that. Soccer season getting started soon. That'll be fun. I'm pumped for Inter Miami season. We'll talk to Austin Robillard of Red Card Radio about just that in about 20 minutes, as he will be getting geared up for another great show. All right, moving right along here. I did want to talk about Spencer Knight for a moment. Panthers goaltending prospect, having a great year with Boston College. Another great year with Boston College. His sophomore season, Florida's #1 draft pick a couple of summers ago, back in 2019. He's got a 16-3-1 record this year. And Boston College is, I believe they're playing tomorrow in the quarterfinals against the winner of BU and St. Cloud State today. So, yeah, Spencer Knight has been announced as one of the 3 finalists for the Mike Richter Award for the best goaltender in college hockey. Pretty awesome. Pretty cool. .933 save percentage this year, .213 goals against, I believe 3 shutouts. And, the Boston College will play in the Elite 8 of college hockey tournament tomorrow, as I said, against the winner of Boston University and St. Cloud State, and they play today at 1. Will Spencer Knight stay at Boston College for another year? I don't know. That's the question, right? You know that whenever he goes pro, he'll instantly become the starter in AHL. I guess that would be, if it's next year, it'll be AHL Charlotte. But yeah, you've got to figure, as soon as he's ready, he's the starter in the AHL, and maybe spend a year there, and then you bring him up, and you deal with Bob and the contract and all that at that time. I don't know. I know there's rumors out there about Spencer Knight possibly not wanting to sign with Florida because of Bob's contract and all that, and I'll be honest, I haven't heard anything about that. I've heard rumors that I have not been able to substantiate, that I've not been able to confirm at all. So, man, go sit down, man. You can walk in front of the camera. Austin's here. Nobody's going to be upset about not seeing my face for a half a second. My masked face behind my gritty mask today. So, yeah, Austin's here. Yay! Austin's back. I got Austin's birthday presents from last week. I'm going to give those to him. I promise you it's nothing extravagant.
I love it. I'm very appreciative.
All right, so good on Spencer Knight. Again, we'll see what happens whenever he does sign here. But again, I don't think there's any issues there. I think when he's done at BC, he's going to sign with Florida. He'll sign his ELC, and they'll get everything rolling. He is the goaltender of the future here. And I know you guys, we also have Devin Levi, the surprise of the draft. He played amazing for Team Canada at the World Juniors. Florida's goaltending pipeline is good. It is very good. But again, you deal with the problems when they come. You're looking ahead. It's a good problem to have. All right. I got my skates laced up. Are we good to go around the pod, Abel? All right, let's do it.
Lace up your skates. It's time to go around the pond on Chirping the Cats Radio.
Man, I could just listen to this music like all day. I'm so happy that hockey's coming back to ESPN. This just takes me back. Okay, so the first place around the pond, we talked about the standings for a little bit, so I just want to touch on that. The Panthers are now by themselves in 3rd place, trailing Carolina by 3 points, 47 to Carolina, 44 for the Panthers. Tampa has got a nice little cushion, at least on Florida now, after winning last week. So Florida 6 points back on Tampa. So a little bit of work to do for the Panthers, but again, they still got a nice lead on Chicago, still 7 points up with a game in hand. So a little cushion there for fourth place. Columbus is caught up. I've talked about before that fifth place bubble where kind of the Panthers' security blanket for making the playoffs. Columbus now still has played one more game than Florida, but the gap is close to 10 points, which, is 5 wins, 5 games, and, for you baseball fans, 5 games back. So Florida, they've slipped this week, and they've got to catch themselves, and that's basically where they're at. Florida's next 6 games are against Dallas on the road, and then at home for Detroit and Columbus. So 6 games against teams you would think are winnable games. You hope that Florida can turn things around and maybe get 4 wins out of those 6 games, 5 wins out of those 6 games. 10 points would be lovely. So it's time to turn things around. Now, I've been talking a little bit about Dragori Denisenko. I just tweeted out the video of him scoring the overtime winner last night for AHL Syracuse. They beat Rochester, another former Panthers AHL affiliate. So it was Denisenko's first game back with Syracuse since he was loaned back to the AHL on the 19th, so about a week ago. He had 5 shots, plus 2 rating, and now he is up to 4 points in his 5 AHL games, including 3 goals, and the 3 goals have come in consecutive games. His last 3 AHL games, he's got a goal. Now, granted, there's over a month gap between the previous 2, as February 20th and then March 26th, as he spent a few weeks here in South Florida. He played in a couple of games. So what is he doing right at the AHL level that he's not doing at the NHL level? Granted, just a couple of games, but he's carrying the puck a lot more. I keep stressing that's a very important, is to hold on to the puck. You're keeping possession, you're making plays, you're showing confidence. There's a lot of reasons. So the more Dragori plays with confidence, the more he can be himself. The Dragori that we saw absolutely tear up international play when he was with Team Russia during junior play the last few years. He needs more ice time. He needs to build that, and he gets it in the AHL. He gets the offensive zone starts. He gets the special teams time. Would he produce in that kind of a role with the Panthers? Right now, I don't see it. And I think it's more of a confidence thing than a skill thing, because we know he's got the skills to move with the puck. You know he's got soft hands. You know he can shoot the puck. He's got a tough physical element to his game. There are a lot of reasons why his game should translate to the NHL. I want him to build that confidence. The next time I see him in a Panthers sweater, I want to notice him on the ice. I don't want to have to search for him, which is what I had to do this year. I had to mark him every time I saw him come on the ice and really pay attention. I want him to stand out. Is that going to happen? We'll see. We'll see if he can pick up some steam here playing for the AHL. But off to a great start. And it seems as though the time away didn't really have a big impact. So some other cool news that came down earlier this week. NBC Sports Network expanded some of their nationally televised games. It's expanded their schedule a bit. And the original national televised schedule that came out had Florida playing 1 game on NBCSN, and that game ended up getting pushed aside anyway because Florida, they were supposed to play Detroit, I think it was on a Sunday. It got changed to Saturday due to COVID rescheduling, and that wasn't a national window. So Florida essentially had lost their only national televised game. It was supposed to be at the end of last month. But times they are changing. So Florida now will have 2 games to air on NBC Sports Network. Thursday, April 15th at Tampa, and then Thursday, April 29th at Chicago. Now, both of those games could and should have fairly significant playoff implications, whether Florida is going to be trying to fight to get back with Tampa. They still play them, I believe, 4 times. Or with Chicago trying to push back up into the conversation in the middle of the conference playoff standings. Florida trying to solidify themselves. So either way, should be 2 pretty important games. And it's nice that the Panthers getting some attention. They should. They've been a great team all year. They're toward the top of the standings. So I also wanted to touch on you may have saw last week, Tim Peel, the NHL referee, is no longer an NHL referee. The NHL has basically banned him from officiating anymore. He was caught on a hot mic basically saying that he called a penalty because he, quote, wanted to. And, yeah, it's something that absolutely goes on. It's the referees control games at their discretion. It's no secret. It's pretty apparent in what you see with your eyes when you watch hockey. However, he was caught saying it. And so the NHL they made an example out of him. Is Tim Peel a scapegoat? Because I guarantee you, like, referees controlling play like that is not going to stop. It's a normal practice. It's beyond obvious. It's all, I don't know. I just think that this is not the kind of knee-jerk reaction. When you think about how long it took the NHL to get in line with diversity, when you think about some of the late responses with issues internally in locker rooms, whether even some of the hot button issues currently in society, racism. You've had topics, you've had discussions, and yet you get the knee-jerk reaction for this, for the ref. You got to protect the integrity of the game, right? That's what the NHL said. Yeah. It's a little disingenuous when you can cherry pick when and where you do these things. I asked Coach Quenneville about this specific issue with Tim Peel because Coach Q has known Tim Peel for a long time. I don't want to read you his whole quote, but he basically said that, this is what he said. I think everybody has a way of doing their job, whether it's articulated or not. I think there's always different standards. Every game is different for referees, like it is for players and coaches. I think you adapt to the way the game is being called and the way it's being played, and they have different nights where different things are going to be different as well. I've got a lot of respect for a tough job. End quote. Then I followed up by asking Coach Q if he thinks that Tim Peel is being made an example of, and he told me, I'm not getting into that. That's where I'm at. I like him, and I'm not getting into that. So you can read between the lines there. I think I agree with what Coach Q is not saying. All right, we're going to hit the break. On the other side, Austin Robillard of Red Card Radio will join me. We'll talk a little hockey. We'll talk a little soccer. And maybe some fashion. I mean, I don't know. It's always fun with Austin. Hey, every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Stolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans, OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Chirping the Cats Radio with David Work. Take Onside Radio, your home for soccer everywhere, with a MyTuner radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. When you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org to learn more.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
If you missed 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, you missed.
What?
Blatantly
So they'd be
obvious.
like Sauron.
You are not. No, you're not. You're not jumping to Hobbit. You're not jumping to Lord of the Rings.
Why?
No, because you're not. You're not jumping from Marvel to Lord of the Rings.
There aren't any Marvel movies that even touch Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm serious, bro. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch. Yeah, you're right. Iron Man isn't better than a 19-hour-long 3-part Hobbit.
Iron Man is your favorite Marvel one?
No, I just threw it out there. There's 23 of them or 26 of them for crying out loud. Thor Ragnarok. Watch that one.
I thought they're all Thor. Oh
my God.
Ragnarok.
No, Thor Ragnarok is an actual Thor movie. It's the 3rd Thor movie. I hate you.
4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh, weekday mornings from 8 to 10.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that. Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
A message to help keep you safe. If doctors told us today that we'd made a breakthrough on COVID-19, saving thousands of lives, we would rejoice. Finally, a good news day. We'd feel less afraid that our loved ones would be struck by the invisible enemy. We'd start to feel hope that we could live our lives again. Well, a mask does all that. We can help protect others by covering our noses and mouths, which is how the virus mainly spreads. Masks are a ticket to freedom, to be out in the world, to getting together, back to work, back to doing what we want. If doctors announced we could save lives today, we would grab that breakthrough with both hands. While we wait for a vaccine, grab the breakthrough that's already here. When we're out, it's masks on.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
These are unprecedented times, challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. But we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Ys across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
Welcome back to Chirping the Cats Radio. To reach out to David, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Florida Panthers insider David Dwork.
Outside Radio is on the move. Listen to your car, on the job, listen at work, wherever you go. All you have to do is download the radio.net app. Go to your app store, download and search Onside Radio, South Florida's sports station. All right. So welcoming in Austin Robillard of Red Card Radio. Austin, good morning.
Good morning. I'm happy to be back, man. Happy.
Yeah,
to
your
see
eyes
you.
look nice and clear.
Yeah, they're normal for the most part. It was
very good.
It was not good, but we're back.
All right, cool. Well, before we get into our crosstalk, belated happy birthday to you.
Oh my man.
A couple of small gifts to help your Panthers fandom.
Nice.
I got a funky-looking Panthers visor and also a Panthers mask that I also have one of myself.
Wow. Man,
Again,
know, this is perfect.
I told you it was nothing major, nothing super, but cool little Panthers tchotchkes to help you become a hockey fan.
I'm doing my best to do that, I promise. I am doing everything I can to be a hockey fan, and now I've got the gear to
got a little bit of gear. So happy 21st. I hope you didn't get too drunk last week. But
it's your birthday?
It was last week.
Last week?
Yeah, on the show.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But well, we both have something for you. Can I fire it up for him?
Oh, yeah, do it.
All right. What's going on here?
I'm about to go get the whole hood and bring them out to Cloud 9 tonight so we can do it real big one time for your birthday.
Uh-oh.
Yo, it's rock solid. If your birthday is today or this month, you gotta celebrate right now. Break out the bubbly or make a toast. Yeah, today is your birthday. It's all about you.
It's all about you.
Ladies and gentlemen, stand up. Man,
that is one of the great.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday, man.
Abel, man, I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you. You guys, I got to do nothing. My eye was shut for 3 days. There was nothing that I could do. So hopefully this weekend I can bring along the festivities.
Well, you know, it's a birthday. Celebrate birthday month.
True. Yeah, we can do that.
All right, so back to the task at hand. While we're here, actually, talk about some sports. First thing, U.S. men's national team. I'm getting more and more excited as the Olympics are hopefully getting closer and closer.
Yep, as you should, by the way.
Yep. No, that's the thing. You're getting me excited. Like, I'm pumped. They had a big win against Jamaica. They got another game coming up tomorrow, right?
We have two different teams playing tomorrow. We have
that's right.
The senior team, who's playing Northern Ireland, just a friendly. And then we have the U23s, who are in the semifinal of the qualifying stage. But if you win that, you're qualified for the Olympics. So
Nice.
Tomorrow's a big day for all
That
of
hasn't been a given with the U.S. men's national
No.
team at all. So that's a nice accomplishment. And honestly, like, my expectations are kind of high for the Olympics.
The thing is with the Olympics, I'm just hoping that the Olympics are not technically deemed a FIFA international window. It's not a FIFA competition. So when the Olympics start, technically clubs are still in season, or they are still the clubs are still okay to have the players. They won't release them if they don't want to. That's the only problem. When you get into August is when they are able to be released for an international window. They are on break from clubs. So if we do qualify, there's no given that a lot of these top talents who are under 23 will be released by their club, the likes of Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie. We don't know if the clubs will release them. We don't know what kind of roster we would have if we're to qualify. It's kind of upsetting, but there still be just to have a presence there after everything we've been through is big.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's not like that's just the problem for the American team either.
Right.
So we'll see how it all plays out. But I'm excited. And I'm also excited about Inter Miami season coming up. Something that you and I have talked about is their need for depth and their need for a little bit more stability on the back end. And I think this week they made a couple of moves to solidify that.
Two big signings. A right back that's been in MLS for a little bit. He's played in Europe as well. He knows Chris Henderson, who's our sporting director from Seattle. Kelvin Leardom, and at one-time MLS champion. He's here. He played all of last year for Seattle, had a really good season. And now he'll be starting for us at right back. And then you sign the ex-Arsenal man, Kieran Gibbs. He'll be joining us in July, unfortunately, but that's still major. It adds depth, like you just said. We needed the depth, and now we have it. I am very confident in this back line. And what is the word I'm trying to use? I'm going to plug myself here.
Okay.
And 5reasonsports.com, I wrote an article. I know you were talking about a little.
Yes.
I wrote everything about the defensive options for Inter Miami and what I think how they're going to line up and how they'll line up and why they'll line up that way, things like that. So
no, this is a good read because if you're like me and you really want to learn and understand what you're seeing, Austin is going to break it down. So I would suggest, as you give yourself the plug, you should tweet it out again.
I should.
Tweet it to the people.
Do that.
But that's Austin Robillard. Red Card Radio is coming up in about a minute on the other side of the break. I want to thank Austin for being awesome and wish you once again a happy belated 21st birthday.
Thank you.
A big thank you to Abel on the other side for pushing all the right buttons, and thank you to everybody for listening. We'll be back on the air next week at 10 a.m. Until then, go Panthers and stay cool.
You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnSideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this. Visit cityfurniture.com.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay. Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a